Hello. Is it now going to the right stream? There was some kind of new stream key thing which I don't think I had correctly, so I had started the stream, but it didn't show up on YouTube at all, at least for me. So sorry for being a bit late. Hey, think everything should be fine now. I can show my development environment, and I looked for a list of tasks from where I could select some easy stuff to try to do this stream, because this will be a bit distracting to stream. Okay, let me enable my mic filter. So it was a bit of a rush thing to set up as the music bot is not working, so the background music. But I think my mic filter should be on, so there's some noise reduction. Backup. Play the Drive soundtrack. Right, so yes, we at least have a few people watching the stream. Maybe there's some live comments on the list. Oh, yeah, Joseph is the chat. Like, I don't think. I mean, I can like do a GitHub tutorial, like entirely on the stream. Like it is a pretty complicated thing too. So the task list, or at least this pull request. So I think this was the outdated one. So like you should like just close this pull request, which is outdated, so that it's clear to everyone that being worked on. And well, based on this title, like I think you used like the GitHub editor. Like this is like not what you should do doing this GitHub editor, because it's really basic and you can't do a lot of stuff with it. And yeah, this confirms that you made this change on GitHub, which is like not really what you want to do. You want to get the code locally. I use my development environment for this, but you can use like something like GitHub Desktop on Windows if you want. The pull request list. Sure. And also you should make a new branch for each pull request, because otherwise they end up being like a bit of a mess. Your changes locally. So what I would actually, I think I'm going to like show how to fix up your pull request. Setup instructions. This is what you updated, and just improve the cram. Fine. This is also an important part of the development process, to write a commit message that makes sense. send it. There we go. And I'll also fix the pull request title because this is like the first thing I see. So if this is just some generic thing, then it's very hard to know what's going on. This at about. So yeah, I see this line missing. This made this one thing a whole markdown paragraph, so that caused issues. So that's also a good change. And I forgot in the previous pull request to check that there. Seems good now. Actually, I'm not going to do it, but one thing that you can do with these pull requests, if you make some kind of mistake or something, then you can like squash multiple commits to get rid of the so I can't because I've pushed these, but anyway you can use the command line squash commits, and then you can force push to override the pull request if you made a mistake or something. That should be fine now, and the tests should pass. So I'm so lazy now that I'll just that, and then we have anything. This was opened, but I already commented on that. Nothing else needs my review. Right, so chat message, I'll reply that. Like if you like made a mess of your Git history, then I recommend you squash it and then force push, or what you can also do is that if you have opened a pull request, what you can do is you can delete your local branch, make a new local branch with the same name, and then redo things you were meant to do, and then force push to GitHub. And that will override all of the commits in your pull request, thus cleaning it up. So if you make a pull request and make a mistake, and then instead of opening a second pull request, you can actually just replace everything in the pull request. And I much prefer that because I get an email for every single thing happening on our GitHub. So I much prefer if people reuse their pull requests and actually fix the old one instead of opening a new one. Anyway, here's one of the reasons why I was almost late for the stream is that I was checking what had happened. last night when I was sleeping, so I reviewed this change and I found it to be a bit non-optimal, even if it technically does what it says. So I didn't have any other things and I had this. I went to the really old issues and found about 20 things that are easy enough that I think I could maybe do them on stream. And yes, if you force push, you can replace any commits that you have already sent to the GitHub. So you can correct your local branches and then force push to overwrite whatever is online already. Or if you haven't made a huge mess, you can also just do further commits to your branch. That will also update the pull request, and that's usually what you do. Maybe I could show an example. For example, this is my pull request from yesterday. I did a bit of work and then sent it to GitHub. Then I noticed that the tests don't pass. So I may make a further commit, send it to GitHub. It fails again because I didn't run the full formatting checks. Then I do one more commit and this finally passes all the tests. So then I thought that this would be a pretty good first issue because, well, it's been open since 2021 and I think my mutation point changes recently should have made this pretty much work, or it should be only a little bit of work to get this done. So I'll demonstrate live how I would do a piece of work for Thrive once I've found something to work on. So just assign myself to make it clear that I'm now working on this so that no one else accidentally starts working on the same thing. Even though as our team is so small, it's very unlikely that someone else will jump in after 4 years and work on this. So I'll follow our style guide, and this is like the important part when you start working on something new, is that you always want to start from the master branch. So here I've got the latest commit now that I just merged to master. That then I am going to start a new branch in Thrive using the issue number as that. New branch where we can work on our stuff. And I already a little bit thought about what to do on this. So I think actually what we'll do first is make a test for this to make sure that it is free the rotations. So what's my other mutation point test? So we have the we need a multi-hex organelle to be able to like really test it, and we do have the dummy nucleus here. This is not in any species template, so new species template will have the nucleus. Position 0, 0, rotation 0. Then we'll make an action that rotates the nucleus. Probably a good test. Is the nucleus symmetric? I think it might be not, so that's actually quite beneficial. Here, because it's not going to be will need to be I'm going to make it so that if you rotate an organelle in place so that all the hexes match the original, then that doesn't cost any mutation points. That's going to make it a bit nicer that you can work on stuff, so I am a bit unsure about all of these, so to do some trial and error or try in Drive. So the cost should be 0 for the rotation. Then yes, I'll want to it so that if it's actually moved, then it's the move cost. Make sure the test doesn't accidentally pass. Be like doesn't miss. So yeah, I don't have intuitive understanding of these this axial coordinate system. So I'll need to fire up Drive and try what I want to achieve here. So this is I think a 3 hex. Chloroplast should be relatively, so we want to do something like it's placed like that. Then we would want this to rotate twice. Want it to be position, we want this to go. Should maybe work now. Sure. Didn't match. Set up in a move action. So we'll want to know what the actual hexes are. Some stuff that makes the so uncomment that to make it's not immediately explode. It's not so. Organelle. Want to inspect all of the hexes, so find out what is different. In Thrive, all of the organelles are made up of the hexes. Most the game. But anyway, all of those hexes you see in the editor are that make up the actual organelles. Discussion. Compare. Temporary code, so we can just care. Actually compute the hex. Actually the only thing. Let's make more temporary stuff. On the go. Check what's going on. See, Tyler is asking, is front-end development dead? Well, I don't know how to answer that question. I mean, definitely in Thrive, there's been quite a lot of like backend systems work recently, and all of these mutation point system calculation problems have been basically quote-unquote backend stuff of Thrive. So, X's original 3 hexes 001. That looks pretty correct. X's new. What has happened? 001001. So in theory, all of the hexes are the same, so that would mean that there is still something to be done. Except this doesn't look correct. Positions. This is not correct. Hmm. So we do have panel edits facade. Removed organelles, which, yeah, looks correct, but it is correct. Hmm. But then why wrong thing? This is the power of using an IDE, but I've heard that Visual Studio Code should be able to do the same things if you configure it with plugins. Get that. Right, or it's not dirty. Right. The is bacteria field just tells if a species is a bacteria or not. So if it has a nucleus. Should skip the stuff here. How to return the added organ. This should return the, yeah, that's the right position. We have the organelle. Now it's correct. On the clock. Oh, like definition possible. Should all be correct here. What's going on? Note overhead. This. Okay, let's do some kind of hack here because meet the stuff so that we can for a relay going to be what? How? Are some kind of the loop in. Very strange stuff. There. That we need to solve. It's up to the okay, now we didn't hit here, so I guess that was actually the case that should not those properties false if it's dirty. So okay, now. So excuse. All right. They are incorrect. Zero. X's are minus one. Minus one. I don't know enough about thinking that we need to match like the we actually need to go to like that. Zero. Same. 0, 1, 0, or 1. Yeah, now it's so. Now we should put 0. See, I have some. This should return true that rotated in place. Of them. Minus 1, 1. Oh, this doesn't take the position into a 0, 0. Ah, this should be that there. Yeah, there is a at the position now of the new organelle. Probably should check that the counts match. It's not. This should basically never happen. There we go. There. So yeah, looks like that checking this 4-year-old issue, we found 2 bugs in different places in the code already. Yeah, here this is actually also for Yusef. This is also actually a pretty nice feature that JetBrains added recently, this predictive debugger. So like this method now, haven't run this yet, but the debugger already knows that it's going to pass. It's going to return true, so we see this arrow, that's where we are going to go. But for completeness, let's go in here to see what happens. So the count is going to be the same. Yeah. Then we are going to check hexes, but in the different order. So the hexes have been added here. We check the new positions here, but they are going to come in different order, but they are going to be the same. So basically, if all of the final hex positions of the old organelle match the new organelle, then we can say that it has been rotated in place, so we should not require any MP usage for that. Here we are, so we are rotated in place, but we'll check if there's any upgrade cost. So cost is 0, shouldn't increase. It's nice. And we'll mark this as it's handled this organelle, so that should now pass. If we are adding tolerance costs now. But what made it dirty? Running this second code. Okay, this doesn't match. Yeah. I didn't fix this up, so that's all of these red things are breakpoints, so these are where I want the program to stop and I can inspect what's going on, and this is pretty much like almost the most important tool. For example, I hit that exception just now, so I can actually put a breakpoint here. So now I can run this again, and we stopped here, and now I can hit resume. So we got through this, so this works now, and we now know that the error is somewhere after this, so you can do a lot of stuff with this debugger. Very important thing. Of course, you could put something like GD print all over the place to know where your program is going, but this is so much faster because you can just inspect stuff. Does it look correct? What's going on? And with Valua printing, you would need to predict what you want to know at each point. So anyway, so this likely didn't find anything because the position doesn't match what we wanted. So let's move it a tiny bit more, and that should no longer match the organelles, so it will move cost. Let's just confirm. There we go. Success. And for good measure, let's rerun all of the tests. All of them pass, which is very nice. So we didn't break anything. So that's pretty much this. this thing done. I did actually find out that this is slightly bugged, so we need to fix it. And now I'm going to commit the changes. I really like this visual Git interface. I used to just use a command line interface, but this is much nicer. Nicer to be able to review the changes so you know exactly what's going on. Let's not commit our debug code. That's a grammar fix, so that's fine to then we did this. Going to get it's pretty much required. Want to make accessing these properties slightly less efficient, as it needs to check if thing dirty first. This is going to avoid where to find bugs. So let's make a own commit from this bug fix. Should be as I don't want to wait a bunch of time, I'm going to keep commit checks, but usually at least if you're new programmer for Thrive, you'll want to use the checks as much as possible so that you don't need to push to GitHub like 10 times per pull request. This is like the main bug fixed. Place check which all right. Then we also some test. No, it's not. Let's take out our useless code from the test so it doesn't take up less time. All succeeded. This is the rider ID, and now as I'm doing the final change, I decided to allow the commit checks to run. It's just some checks on the code, but well, for time constraints, it's not going to check everything. Brains usually has some internal errors, but yeah, it wasn't serious. So yeah, get a nice GUI summary here. So we are going to make a new branch. Going to send it to the origin, which is for me that's the main repo, but if you have a fork, the origin will be your fork. Yeah, we are sending 3 commits, nothing weird going on, so we can do a normal push here. This is pretty important step for not annoying me with pull requests with random stuff in them. Send those 3. Find out that everything was fine. that we have pushed the thing. We are on GitHub. We get this nice button here, so let's make a pull request. So now, very important, we want to make a very clear title of what this does, because this is what's going to go in my notification email and into the master branch commit history. So this is important to write this well. So what we did is not. We maybe clarify that, because maybe single hex organelle rotations were free, but this multi-hex organelles didn't. Then we'll want to link the issue. We shouldn't impact saving at all. We didn't change any persistent data. If I have any doubts about the save compatibility, or if someone new is making changes, I highly recommend actually testing properly. When you are opening a pull request, I don't think you can select all of these things, but I will do those when I know this. And now we can again quickly check through if this makes sense. Everything looks good. No unintended changes. We have a title here ready to create a pull request. If you've not managed to fully do something, or you think it's only almost done, you can open a draft pull request to still get feedback, but make it clear that it's not fully done yet. But this is fully done, so we are making a for good measure. I guess we can close and die. Now the automated tests are running. They should pass. Pull request looks good. We can check these from here. Go to check what's going on. It's already passed progress, but I think I didn't make any mistakes that would likely for this to fail. And well, the build has managed to get this far, so this is probably not going to fail either. So yeah, now we've fixed one 4-year-old issue. Drive. I likely merge this tomorrow, but I try to give some time for other people to review my work, even if it doesn't happen that often. There we finished one thing and just got 19 very old bugs left. Of course, these aren't all of the old issues because, well, I went through just a few pages of the issues. Find something that might be easy enough to take care of. But there's an absolute ton of issues. Drive. Anyway, does anyone have any questions about the development process or anything like that? How I recommend before I not does anyone I guess you can kind of see this issue list. Is there anything here that someone really would want to see? Slight feeling that this might be something that I well, guess in my opinion it does match pretty nicely, I guess. Maybe I should have closed it as not planned, but actually. Mm, yeah. Yeah, I can't actually remember where these interfaces are. I haven't yet selected anything more to this is going to, this will need to wait. Maybe this would be pretty easy issue to check. So I can show to Joseph how you manage a massive code base. So when you find an issue you want to work on, then you'll need to find the relevant code. So we are looking for something that's related to player death. So we found something. It seems like we have found some code that is related to player death. We haven't found where the population is taking, so production population. Here we found some pretty nice thing here. Died. And it does seem like that the spawn rate is not adjusted immediately. And if I remember correctly, the idea behind this issue is that if the player species is competing hard against them, then that makes it much harder. Harder to survive. So let's see what's going on. Stage. Player died. Guess this makes pretty much sense. will want to Patch Manager. We want to update the spawners, I think. Spawners. We'll just let's put a check here. That should now update stuff. We can check. And before we commit, let's start. Just we've done some investigation, and we are now pretty sure that there is a slight problem. So new branch again in the drive repo so that we don't mess up our previous pull request. This is important when working on multiple stuff at the same time. Okay, bye Joseph. Thanks for showing up. This should take only a few minutes, so then I can also take a break myself and continue stream a bit in a few hours. So now we can test this stuff. Actually, for easier testing, I've set up all of these direct state starters. So if I want to test the microbe states easily, I can select the different start target and then just start it like this. So I get directly here, and then of course cheats, very important for testing. Breakpoint was still there though. I want at least some so we should have quite good player spawn rate now. And then if we die, this should immediately update the player spawn rate. So in here, this should cell spawns. Should see only one spawn density change here. See. So none of the other spawners should change. Only the or actually nothing changed. Is that possible? No. Yes, we'll need to. Population. Oh, it's checking the species in patch. So if that applies the immediate population change. So if the population we should be using like the get species gameplay population. There. We'll want to know if this hits before that. We'll want to this. Spawners. Actually, we also want the to sticks. Edit. Updating. Player species. Die now. Population loss, which is then we update. Then we got the player population. So we'll definitely want to use the gameplay population. remove patches. Complicated. So let's check that one. Remove here. Changes here. Stuff. Now we got no primum trivium popul. So I guess it was already the case that there's nothing here. Oh, stuff VLAN. That's probably all the changes we'll need. Higher population.
In 1839, there was
Looks like it was too long stream, so the guy's soundtrack ended. A few minutes will be, I guess. No background music. So if we move patch, all of the spawn densities change. And we are not going to spawn here yet. If we survive now to the editor, some changes. No. Oh yeah. Some energy now. Good. And now if we die, play pop is 50. Spawn rate, yep, change. Alright. Spawn. And stuff has changed. Let's update. The weight is I'm going to assume that the spawn system will also, without this call, will get updated. So, so font types. Pi 17 what? Why is it not exactly there? Still. 01. This thing created spawner, micro spawner for Primo. Let's update. Types. Okay, it is updating. It is updating. Alright, so yeah, I think we fixed another slide. So let's review grammar update. Like, I mean, we have years of written comments, but just like in the past year, Rider got a new grammar checker, which is much more intense than before. So I'm slowly updating all of the grammar mistakes it says. So all right. Yes, that's it. Then made. All right. This will make it slightly more difficult to get like binding done if you're trying to build a big organism, but I guess most players shouldn't be dying at that point anymore. I hope that this is good. So let's just commit that. That's good. That. now if someone is a Thrive developer or a patron, they can use the dev build system to download this build and play. Not that many people download each build, but I think it gets a new anyway. Branch. Enshroud saving. So quick check once. It's an error. Okay, I guess that's enough for this one part stream. I'm going to try to do like an hour more of this later in the day because for some people this early time was too early. So now I'm going to take a break and the next stream. So if someone is still available, then you can join the later stream. I'll probably make the stream event right now after. So see you then.